go back. I told you to go back to your girlfriend.
Her apartment. I have to clean it up. After we finished, I took Mari-san somewhere safe to sit down, to the very spot where we just made love, before I silently began to collect the shattered pieces of glass. I turned on all the lights in the apartment and went as far as to check even under the bed, not overlooking any spots that reflected light. After I finished that, I proceeded to clean up the wine. After I finished that, I proceeded to clean up the wine. I wiped the floor and walls with a towel before using detergent to get rid of the stain and odor. Yeah, but that's red. It's gonna stay forever. Or maybe it is white wine. We never really saw. After that, I attended to the furniture and belongings scattered about the floor. I returned her clothes, books, and accessories to where they were originally stored.
You don't have to go out of your way to tidy up that much. I'm going to be moving out of here soon anyway.
Yeah, but don't you want your deposit back? And a clean place makes it sell a hell of a lot better. Mari-san easily slaps me out of my attempt to run away from reality.
I'll be heading to America soon, so...
Mari-san. She does so as she remains seated on the floor, with her clothes a mess after what we did. She does so without wearing any underwear, as my essence leaks out from within her and drips onto the floor. But I can feel the harsh, dark glint in her eyes as her gaze pierces through me, even as I'm averting my own gaze from her.
My work would never betray me. It will love me and me alone forever. It's not like you.
She's condemning my betrayal.
I'm going to walk down my own path. That's why you should walk down your own path as well.
Just because it's my own path doesn't mean that it's something I can put any faith in. And how could I, when all I've done was run away from Setsuna, failed to chase after Mari-san, and am now stuck in darkness without knowing where I came from or where I'm going?
Goodbye, Kirahara. You were mine.
I was your...
Well, you brought a little bit of joy into my life. I'll admit that much.
Will I find the future that I seek at the end of this uncertain path? February 15th, Tuesday.
Thank you for yesterday. And I want to say that I'm sorry. I heard everything from my mom after I woke up about how you were by my side the whole time, Haruki-kun. That, and she was also pretty upset at me for getting drunk and falling asleep after leaving the guest like that. I'm really sorry for giving you so much trouble. I'm just kidding. I know that if I'm truly going to apologize, I shouldn't be apologizing for this in particular. I'm really sorry for the dishonest way that I invited you over yesterday. And I'm also really sorry for saying all kinds of unpleasant things during a time where we were supposed to enjoy ourselves. I'm sorry for crying my heart out in front of you. Recalling all that is burning me with embarrassment right now. I also regret it to the point where I could cry. If you still remember how I acted back then, I'd appreciate it if you would forget about it. And if you forgot about it already, please forget about this text too. I was really happy to get your present. See you.
Be saying she's sorry over and over again today. And as far as I regret it to the point where I could cry goes, I imagine those are probably her true feelings on the matter. And without a doubt, it's because she's expressing her true feelings on the matter that she's feeling so helplessly regretful. Not to mention that she's probably avoiding all of the important things on purpose today. She didn't write anything like, "There's something important we need to talk about," or anything about a conclusion in her text, even though those were the true reasons why Setsuna cried last night. Ri, thank you for yesterday. The party was really fun. I wonder how many years it's been since I last sang the happy birthday song. Your cooking has become more delicious compared to last time. Your roast beef was the best among the dishes, I'd say. As far as my amateurish sense of taste could tell, anyway. It's been a while since I last enjoyed a conversation with your parents and Takahiro-kun too. The last time we talked, the two of us got lectured after all. In any case, yesterday was truly fun. It's as if we've returned to our high school days, even if only for a little while. I can't think of anything that happened that you would need to apologize for. So, really, don't worry about it, Setsuna. If anything, I was actually worried about you getting a hangover. You did drink quite a lot yesterday. See ya. Make sure you have some breakfast, even if you do feel a bit sick. Though, on the other hand, here's my current pathetic self, who's actually relieved that Setsuna isn't pursuing the matter at all. I'm taking advantage of this situation, acting as if nothing had happened at all. All while not even trying to seek another opportunity. It's unforgivable. I had a goal in mind up until yesterday, but it completely vanished in just a few short hours. And now that I've strayed away from what I was supposed to be working toward, all I have left is to live with the fact that my heart was stolen by another woman. Which means I'm the one running away this time, aren't I? I've gone back to my old cowardly ways yet again, haven't I? Before I knew it, the sun had risen. As if. The clock shows 9 a.m. right now. No matter how much one could oversleep on such a winter's morning, it's still way past the time to wake up. Incidentally, it's also the departure time for Mari-san's flight.
If you're telling me you can't get through to them, I suggest you get through to them right now. Right now. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to be persistent. That's fine with me. Well, if it's really impossible, no matter what, contact me at the place I'm about to tell you right now. They're people that took care of me during my time as a new recruit. Just tell them that I referred you and things should proceed smoothly.
Got it? The contact number is...
Yeah, that's it then. Oh, and one last thing. Get your act together. You're going to be the one that has to be making these decisions from now on, you know? Yeah. Good luck. Bye. Suzuki-chan? Yeah, apparently her interview with the police got rejected. Haven't you been rejected tens of times as well? If she doesn't pull herself together and stand up for herself, it'll be a problem. Though it's not like I have anything left over to teach her anyway. When's the next time you're coming back? Next month. I'll be going back immediately after that, and from then on, I'll pretty much be working there.
I see. Sounds like it'll be lonely. Hmm. For crying out loud, don't just start sobbing uncontrollably because you got rejected by someone younger than you.
But... Just when I thought you were going to break into tears in public, you get a call from work and instantly recover. And then you immediately start crying after you've finished. You're all over the place. Don't put it like that. I can only cry like this in front of you, Sawako.
I can't believe that leaving behind a man you recently got together with is what's got you crying rather than the fact that you'll be leaving behind your best friend in the whole world. Makes me wonder if that's all our friendship means to you, you know?
Well, with you, I can still keep in touch with phone calls and texts, can't I?
I mean, the same goes for him too, doesn't it? You've got each other's phone numbers after all.
As if I could go out of my way to contact him? If he rejects my calls or just changes his phone number, I don't know if I could stand up on my own 2 feet again.
Why does someone as near perfect at work as yourself seem to fall into shambles whenever you get involved with a man?
Shut up.
If you have such strong lingering feelings for him, then just go get him, no? You should have refused that transfer. But you got all stubborn instead, and he went so far as to ask you to not go after all.
But I was just a disposable woman to him. When things got rough with his actual girlfriend, he came to me because I happened to be a convenient substitute, you know?
And she's attending the same university as he is?
That's not all. They've been dating since high school.
And she's a beauty to boot.
Well, she was the winner of Miss Hojo High for 3 consecutive years.
And she's family-oriented and good at cooking?
Apparently.
You're no match for her. Give up then.
Sawako!
You won't get anything out of crying to me about it. If you don't want to lose him, fight for it. That's your policy when it comes to work, isn't it?
Fight for him? How would I do that?
You could get on your knees and plead with him the moment you see him. Tell him that he still has a long road ahead of him, but this is the one chance he has left.
That's terrible. You're just too much, you.
If that doesn't work, just take the more stable route and make up with him. Call him and talk it out carefully. You'll just be in a long-distance relationship for a while, though.
Long distance? I don't think that would work out.
Why? You love him so much that you can't wait?
A long time ago, another girl that he once loved went abroad to Europe.
Well, darn. And so, you've just gone and brought back such a trauma for him? You're doing something pretty horrible really naturally, you know?
Besides, that's not the kind of burden one could ever ask of the other to carry. I don't want to feel this miserable anymore. Judging by the current circumstances, you look plenty miserable as it is. Whatever. I'm married to my work anyway. Are you going to take back all those things you said about this? Didn't you say that you should heal scars left from love with love itself? I don't think I can return to that state of mind anymore. I'm so utterly terrified. I don't think I can come to love another man again. Somehow you're only making me worry, Mari. Do you really have to go over there? You know you can't just live on with only your work with you, right?
February 18th, Friday.
And, well, that's about all I know. Will that be enough?
That's more than enough. Thank you very much. Well then...
Hey, Kitahara, are you really intent on quitting your part-time position here? You could come and work under my supervision from now on, you know. Kazuoka is no longer here, and we won't have a substitute until April. So, if you end up resigning now, it's going to be a massive blow to us.
Hamada-san.
You know that I'm not just trying to keep you from quitting as a formality, right? To be honest, Kitahara, compared to the other full-time employees here,
I've decided that this is the right time for me to stop. I have to start writing my thesis after all, and I also have to start looking for full-time employment.
I see.
I'm very sorry. I know that I must be letting everyone down at such a hard time.
No, that's your main obligation as a university student after all. I should be the one apologizing for making such an unreasonable request.
Please don't put it that way.
Besides, you being custom made by Kazuoka herself, Kitahara, I might not be able to handle someone like you.
For some reason, that remark felt rather humbling and painful at the same time.
Take care, and feel free to come back for a visit once you've found a job, okay? I may not be Kazuoka, but my department will welcome you with open arms, alright?
Thank you very much. I doubt I'll choose this path again, but as someone aiming to become a full-fledged member of society, the approval of my abilities from one of my peers fills me with confidence. Well then, if you'll excuse me.
Hey! Did you already hang up, Hamada-san? I told you to pass the phone to me if Kitahara-kun happens to call, didn't I?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about that. Let me call him back.
Well, it's fine. It's just that there's something I need to get his retroactive approval for. There shouldn't be any problems.
You're really fine with this, right? It's not my fault if you guys end up fighting later, you know?
Still, for Kitahara to leave immediately after Kazuoka-san, how is our editing department going to get by from now on? We're in a really tight spot, huh? I hope a reliable successor is going to arrive soon.
If we happen to have a fellow young'un that could just declare that they'd handle Kitahara's workload on their own, we wouldn't have to worry about that.
And that's all because we don't have a superior who can claim that they can handle Kazuoka's work without any problems. Still,
Kitahara-san moved on pretty quickly. And here I was, convinced that the whole rumor about her being interested in Kitahara was true.
Oh?
That typhoon of a woman? Interested in her part-time subordinate who also happens to be a university student? Well, as far as jokes go, it didn't get any better than that.
I just can't imagine Mari-san being swayed by a man younger than her. Any man who can't work at the same pace she can just isn't a match for her.
Maybe we were just overthinking it. Still, she'll never find someone suitable for her if she keeps that up, now will she?
No, saying that she'll never find someone is... forget I said that.
She's really cool, after all. It's a real shame, isn't it?
And because all we can see is her cool side, no one can really see a glimpse of her cute side. And I suppose that's the problem.
Alright, joking around was fun and all, but let's get back to work. You'll be able to wrap things up by today, right, Matsuoka?
Leave it to me. It'll be a piece of cake for me to work 72 hours straight tonight. It would seem the reality is a lot more interesting than the actual jokes about it. By the time I went outside, the ephemeral winter sun was already setting. Having not gone outside for some time, the piercing cold of the harsh breeze permeates through my body painfully. The pain feels more extreme than I expect it to be, perhaps because it's amplifying the torturous, anxious feeling that's festering within me. I'm very anxious right now because what I've been doing in relation to the situation I'm in doesn't make any sense. What have I even been doing? And this is while I know just how selfish, biased, cautious, and reckless I've been.
About yesterday? Io invited us to go skiing. We'd rent a car, just the four of us, and we'd be spending the night. At least, that's what she told me. She also told me that Takia-kun would talk to you about it, Haruki-kun. I wonder if you've already heard about it. I've never gone skiing before. Of course, I've never tried snowboarding either. Have you tried them before, Haruki-kun? The truth is, I've been meaning to try something like this for a long time. It's just that everyone's had the perception of me being an indoorsy person, and it wasn't exactly wrong either, so I never asked anyone to do it with me. But what if I finally got started now? Would I manage to keep improving? Would I be able to glide on the snow at some point? Those two are both really athletic, so I imagine if we casually followed them, they'd bring us to the summit and leave us behind. Don't you think? What do you plan to do, Haruki-kun? I'm kind of hesitant myself. The moment I heard you weren't going, I found myself at a loss.
After Setsuna's birthday party, after the horrible mess that transpired between Mari-san and me, we started casually texting each other once again. Though we clearly couldn't bring ourselves to do it immediately after Christmas, we've returned to being able to continue having simple exchanges about our daily life, just as we used to. And this is despite me knowing that the feelings I have aren't meant for Setsuna. And this is despite Setsuna also knowing that she's wavering because of my feelings are no longer directed at her. Even so, we've been looking away from those days where we suffered with emptiness in our hearts. About yesterday. Takia did call me last night, though I ended up berating him for asking me whether I'd go when he hasn't even decided when or where we'd be having this trip in the first place. And while I'm at it, one thing he did mention he'd decided on was that we'd be going to a place with a hot springs to lure you into coming along, Setsuna. I've never gone skiing or snowboarding before either. Someone did throw around the idea for a group overnight skiing trip in one of my seminars, but the event coordinator shot that idea down pretty quickly. That said, I'll put a hold on my response for now. I haven't decided whether I'll be going yet. That's why you should decide whether you want to go without worrying about me, Setsuna. Sorry for giving you such an unclear answer, but this is about as good as an answer as I can give you right now. Goodbye. Before I pressed the button to send my text, I deleted a single line. Was I talking about my answer to the invitation to the ski trip? Or my answer to something else entirely? Even I'm not sure anymore. As I finally click the send button, the ever so slightly shorter text is sent. I wonder what's going to happen to us from now on. Will Setsuna and I slowly thaw out the snow around us in hopes that someday, once we've both made some progress in our lives, we'll find a new world waiting for us there? Or will the snow only reveal the filth beneath us once more, just as it did when it melted 3 years ago? Or will we, perhaps, continue to drag out this agonizing limbo, where time seems to have frozen for all eternity? But if I happen to choose such a passive path, I'll never be able to meet Mari-san again. But if I happen to choose such a passive path, I'll never be able to meet Mari-san again. If I choose her, I'll have no choice but to plow through the snow myself. I'll have to desperately keep trying through my own blood, sweat, and tears. After all, she's gone somewhere that's far beyond my reach, and quite literally at that, just like she did. What am I doing right now? What do I want to do? I had so many reasons for coming out today the way I did, but in the end, I don't even know if anything I've done today has actually caused me to spill any of my own blood, sweat, or tears. I just don't know what the right thing to do is. The moment I was about to board the train, my cell phone rang. Its tune so soft that it was drowned out by the noise of the train. But while I expected to see Takia's name on the display, I instead saw an unfamiliar 10-digit number. Hello? And the voice I heard the next moment was, An unfamiliar, friendly voice that I vaguely remember hearing before.
Hey there, Haruki-kun. Long time no see.
I'm Amiya-san. Sawako-san. This time, the unfamiliar, friendly voice that I'd vaguely remembered hearing before greeted me at the bar in the middle of the night.
Well then, Mari-san's not here, so let's enjoy this evening that's meant for the two of us.
You're joking, right?
I'll leave that to your imagination, Haruki-kun. In any case, good work.
I'm already on my spring break. I haven't been working part-time recently either.
Did you resign from Kyosha?
I was supposed to be working under Mari-san anyway. Since Mari-san is no longer working there, I may as well be considered unemployed. When I was in the middle of explaining that Mari-san is no longer working there, Sawako grimaced, as if the wine in her glass had suddenly turned bitter. And I can feel that same bitter taste rising in my own mouth as well. By the way, was it Mari-san that gave you my phone number?
No, I got it from Suzuki-chan. She seemed to be very interested in what I had to offer in exchange, you see.
What she had to offer in exchange?
Is that a problem? Still, I'm the one who forced your number out of her, so don't hold it against Suzuki-chan, alright?
I don't feel that way. It's just, what does she mean by what she had to offer in exchange?
Besides, I've actually called you once before, Haruki-kun. It was back when I was in Guam, very early in the year.
So, you were the one who made that call, Sawako-san?
Although, in the end, her phone ended up sinking to the bottom of a wine glass.
And it caused me to feel so upset at Mari-san of all people. At the same time, it was the alarm that signaled the beginning of something, as well as the explosion of my complicated thoughts.
Mari's gotten even more vigilant since then, you know. She'd rather die than give me your phone number, Haruki-kun.
I never would have imagined that these emotions are the result of a third party's manipulation. Mari-san never bore even a shred of responsibility for the beginning of our relationship. Back then, I simply forced my negative emotions upon Mari-san one-sidedly, even though she had done nothing wrong. And even then, she...
You aren't taking that part well, are you? Well, how about we just let bygones be bygones today, and drink until we drop? Whoever survives can worry about what to do next.
In contrast to Sawako-san's cheerful mood, I just couldn't bring myself to cheer up. After all, I've realized why she had me come here today, at this exact time. No, I actually had my doubts at the very beginning, but by now I'm entirely convinced.
I'm drunk. I can't go on anymore.
I know, you've already drunk quite a bit, but the truth is, you're actually not drunk at all, are you? In less than 10 minutes after our first toast, she'd already gone through 3 drinks. And even after that, Sawako-san single-mindedly maintained a pace of 1 drink every 5 minutes, downing glass after glass.
You really are meticulous, aren't you, Haruki-kun?
I know how much alcohol Mari-san can handle. So naturally, if you can drink with her until morning, Sawako-san, that gives me an idea of just how much you can handle yourself. And yet her tone remained as impeccable as ever. I could clearly tell that every joke coming from her mouth was deliberate.
So, you know Mari-san can hold her drink. You've gone out with her and saw her drink until she dropped.
That's,
I'm just kidding. There's no need for either of us to drag this out even longer at this point.
So, what you're trying to say is...
Even if your relationship as superior and subordinate is no more, even if your relationship as superior and subordinate is no more due to our transfer, Your relationship as a man and a woman isn't something that can fade away that easily, right?
And 30 minutes after our first toast, Sawako-san finally throws down the gauntlet.
You slept with Mari, right?
Yeah,
And it wasn't just a one-night stand.
I've stayed over at her place many times. I even had her key. And I respond to Sawako-san's confrontation, unfazed. It's because I want to just get over with confronting her about her true intentions of inviting me out here. After all, as much as she has questions she wants to ask me, I too have a mountain of things I'd like to ask her.
Hey, Haruki-kun, do you know that I'm really pissed at you right now?
I've known that from the beginning.
And do you know that I don't think that simply hitting you a couple of times will be nearly enough of a retribution?
You're welcome to put your thoughts into action. In fact, I'll even ask you to do so.
You know Mari's wounds won't heal even if I do hit you, right? Though I suppose there's still hope for you if you're ready to face the consequences.
I'm sorry. Sawako-san's impish tone fades away, and she instead attacks me with a torrent of heart-wrenching words that stab into my chest like blades.
I'm on Mari's side, so I won't say anything that would put her in a bad spot.
But as far as I can say as the one who's supposedly getting stabbed, her words feel terribly dull.
Especially considering how severely disadvantaged she is right now. It's just impossible to persuade her.
She's not out to kill me because of the weight of my sins. She's not even leaving me with a single wound.
That's why I only want to find out how you feel right now.
No matter how I look at it, she's simply asking me, "You regret it, don't you?" in the kindest way possible.
Haruki-kun, how do you feel about Mari?
I love her.
What do you love about her?
Well, what I'm about to say may come across as extremely disrespectful or make you feel I'm slighting her, but
It's fine. Continue.
I think she's cute. She was cute in the way she showed me her disapproving, pouting expression when I professed how guilty I felt towards her. Albeit not for the reason I expected. She was cute in the way she broke character and found herself at her wit's end. And in the way she became seriously depressed when she realized what she was doing. The fact that I feel that way about a woman who's older than me might be a testament to how tactless I am, and then I forced myself upon her. And when I forced myself upon her, the way her voice and breathing were when she succumbed to pleasure, despite being so embarrassed and bewildered.
She exposed herself that much? So Mari's really serious about this.
Sawako-san?
And then?
It made me so happy. The fact that she'd shown a side of herself that I couldn't see at work, to me alone. Whenever I was in her apartment with her, it felt as if she belonged to no one else in the world but me. The fact that Mari-san seemed so taken by a man like me, despite having the broad horizons of the world in the palm of her hand for her to roam freely. Whenever I was in bed with her, it felt as if she had eyes for no one else in the world but me. It all affected me very deeply. So much, in fact, that I'd forgotten why I even sought her out in the first place. As I finished with my revealing confession,
Another round.
Sawako-san finished yet another drink. and she still doesn't seem like she's getting drunk in the slightest.
I'm a little surprised.
She gazes at me with a resolute look in her eyes, though the glint in them has changed just enough that they no longer look like they're condemning me.
I sure didn't expect you to be able to say that you love Mari so frankly.
Well, I do love her.
I was expecting you to say something along the lines of, I don't hate her, and be unable to continue from there, because you were uncomfortable or tired of the subject.
What I've done is no different from what you just said.
You think so? I honestly don't think it's all that bad, you know?
Regardless of whether or not I could say I love her, it doesn't change the fact that what I've done to her was absolutely terrible. This isn't about me being unable to tell someone I love them. It's a matter of who I could tell that I love them.
Haruki-kun.
But that doesn't change a thing. You've just been made to gloss over the fact, Sawako-san. Just like Mari-san was.
You're capable of analyzing what you did, and you can clearly look at your own mistakes with composure.
No matter how clearly I can see them, it means nothing if I can't correct them. Ever since I betrayed Setsuna and got separated from Kazusa, I've always been aware of my own flaws. I've been aware of how my attitude, my words, and my decisions have been gradually wounding Setsuna, and how the distance between us came to be because of it. I've remained aware of what kind of person I really am, as well as how much sorrow I've been putting Setsuna through for the past 3 years. But I've been unable to correct any of it. In that sense, I've been cruel and incompetent. That's why my words hold no weight at all. They're meaningless. And despite how pointless this is, I've been repeatedly spewing out meaningless words today. Word after word describing things that I cannot tell Setsuna and Setsuna alone kept coming out of my mouth. And I'm telling all of this to the best friend of the person I love, even though I've only met her once in the past. The moment I stopped talking, Sawako-san looked away from me. Sawako-san looked away from me and looked straight ahead, looking as though she was thinking about something. Is she fed up with me? Is she giving up on me? Or does she still harbor some resentment towards me? With the way she's getting deep into thought and continuing glass after glass, I just can't understand what it all means right now.
You see, next month, she'll be coming back to the company temporarily. She'll be making her final preparations for her transfer with her return. And I think we won't be able to see her for quite a while the next time she heads back to the United States.
Sawako-san?
That's why, when that time comes, I want you to talk to Mari once more. I'm asking you this as Mari's best friend. Please, give her one last chance.
What are you... But the feelings that Sawako-san are harboring right now are not those of discontent, resignation, or hatred.
Please, Haruki-kun.
Rather, she's making a request of me that I can't understand. As if she's the one in the wrong in this case. As if she simply doesn't understand what I just said. No, it's as if she had no intention of understanding me in the first place. It's generous yet foolish, just like how Mari-san unconditionally stood by me, and how Setsuna showered me with her unyielding kindness. She's offering me terms that completely ignore how the world actually works and are incredibly convenient. But I can't see Mari-san yet.
Why?
But with the way I am now, they come across as painful instead. The truth is, I never should have started meeting with her in private. At the very least, I never had the right to do so as a man. Nothing has changed about me ever since I hurt Mari-san. Even if we were to see each other again, nothing would change.
Is this because of Toma Kazusa? Or is this because of the girl who's currently by your side, Haruki-kun?
I see Mari-san really does tell you everything, Sawako-san.
Does that offend you? I apologize if so.
No, I don't feel offended at all. If anything, I really appreciate it. After all, Setsuna and I are both the kind of people who can't really do that. Instead, we keep everything bottled up and harm ourselves in the process. I see someone I used to be in love with in Mari-san, and I'm in love with someone else simultaneously, even though I'm still in love with Mari-san right now. Before I could realize it, I found myself attracted to her dignified, straightforward attitude and her forthcoming personality that allowed her to share everything with her best friend. How could I ever bring myself to ask for her forgiveness while I'm still in this state?
Then, when will you be able to do it?
Sawako-san falls for any attempt at deception as long as it's positive. But she sees right through any attempt at deception that's negative.
How much time needs to pass before you can finally bring yourself to face her?
Sawako-san!
When are you going to decide? Will you choose Mari or will you abandon her?
If I tell her that I can't see her right now, she's not going to let that slide.
I'll make this clear, alright? Unlike you, Mari doesn't have all that much time left. It's true. Frankly speaking, if you round it up, Mari's already 30.
Sawako-san?
Do you have any idea how long this'll keep dragging her down if she keeps this up? She's made up her mind not to even look for another man in the next 5 years.
But what came out of her mouth was something completely unexpected.
5 years for you and 5 years for Mari aren't the same thing, Haruki-kun. Can you even fathom how old she'll be in 5 years?
How could that even...
Oh, you think that it won't happen? Okay then, prove to me why it won't.
After all, someone as beautiful, cool, and smart as her, someone as awkward, adorable, and silly as her, could never end up like that. This is what I want to end my sentence with. But I suddenly feel myself break out in a cold sweat with my heart racing. I know she's extremely awkward when it comes to love. Isn't it precisely because she's so awkward she's been alone until she met me? And wasn't it precisely because she's so awkward and so easily flustered that I was unable to resist embracing her?
She'll be over 30 by the time a new man comes in her life, you know? Her 20s will end up going to waste because of you.
She's acting like this because she's her best friend. She can criticize her without mercy and picture the worst possible future for her. Even though she's being brutally blunt, I can see just how deeply she cares about her.
That's why I want you to make your decision as soon as possible. If you decide to abandon her, Then do it in the worst way you can think of. You can callously mock her without mercy if you must.
How could I do something like that?
Well, that's the only way you can do it. You need to push her towards her next love. You can't let her give up on falling in love for the rest of her life.
As I remain as indecisive as ever, Sawako-san proposes a way to put an end to everything in an absolute unimaginable way.
Don't you get it? What happened between you two is something that will deeply affect Mari for the rest of her life. You were the one who made her fall so deeply in love with you.
She's never once scolded me for being indecisive, only blaming Mari for letting her emotions run so deep, while wielding her words more like blunt instruments than blades.
I told you before, didn't I? The reason why Mari accepted you?
But that's...
She must have either blindly fallen in love, or that man must have been a good match for her. I never would have thought that you would fit into both categories.
What Sawako-san just told me was utterly ridiculous. She said that she wouldn't say anything that would put her best friend in a bad spot, but she's exposing all of her weaknesses right now. It's as if she's pestering me to strike while the iron's hot. No, she's outright telling me that I have to do it. She believes that what she's doing is for her best friend's sake, and she needs my cooperation to make it come true.
I'll leave the decision to you. Apart from work, Mari just doesn't have the guts to make it such a heavy decision. I can't really bring myself to agree with her perspective, though.
Even so, they really are best friends. She's clearly conveying just how much she loves her from the bottom of her heart. Hey, Sawako-san?
What is it?
Why are you doing this? Why are you saying so many things to give me hope? Why are you forcing me to make such a terrifying decision in the name of my own happiness? If things between Mari-san and me don't end up working out in the end, could you please take care of her? Of course, I couldn't let her hear that.
That has always been my role. Please, leave it to me.
Thank you very much. Even so, the answer she gave me back then was extremely warming for my heart. It was much more pleasant than the wine that I had in my hand. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. So, Mari has left on her business trip. Sawako has one last plan to try to get Haruki and Mari back together. But will fate cooperate?